Hello and welcome to Rainbow Shelter News. This will be a special episode because it's been a lot of bad luck for all three of the hosts, myself included. Although much worse for the other two, and they could not make it, unfortunately, this episode. Now, because life sometimes holds you by the throat and is super mean. And not in the kink way. Now, I'm Ozma in the Dark, still using the she-they pronouns here on Rainbow Shelter News, and, well, I'm going to talk about the news. This episode may be slightly on the shorter end due to the fact that there's less to bounce off of in terms of conversational points. Although that won't stop me. If you're curious about the window, I'd been covering it with a blanket, and then the blanket fell down. And, the structure I was using to hold the blanket up fell down. So, yeah. That said, you can always like, comment, and subscribe if you want more content, but on to the news. I realize it's the name of the episode, and I realize we're going to talk about it right at the start, but Aidelen Evans is a black trans woman who's found dead outside of an oil refinery and has been misgendered a fuck ton, apparently, by the news, because it was in Texas, so of course there's fuck tons of transphobia. She's a 24-year-old black trans woman who happened to be homeless from the looks of things and moved around, but her name should be remembered. Her actual name should be remembered. Because I realize this is Trans Day of Visibility and should be happier, and there are some funny stories later. It's just I want her actual name to be out there and be visible, because it's just been squashed by some of the aspects of media, which is just, well, it's awful. That said, at least Megan Rapinoe, who is a soccer player in women's soccer, kind of broke apart the whole anti-trans bills are protecting women. So she was bringing out how just being able to play sports meant a lot to her and whatnot, and it's trying to fix something that isn't a problem. Trans kids want to play sports. All kids, a lot of kids want us to play sports. Not all kids. Not everyone is into sports. And yeah, the funding, the lack of proper pay are genuinely the bigger issues as she brings up. So it's not really about trying to help that as much as it is about excluding trans women, because they focus on trans women a lot, on our sexy faces and bodies, which I assume is the general reasoning of those particular lawmakers, as chasers are oftentimes also anti-trans rights. Now, as for the other basic breakdown of how wrong the Republicans are when it comes to their ban. They don't even know trans athletes. There's like a whole video breaking down how they aren't aware of any trans athletes in their state, but they're a danger. I don't know any of them or any sport that any trans people play in, but they're a risk. Our visibility is a risk to their bullshit. So that is just, I mean, the Human Rights Campaign is the one who did the breakdown. It's a good video. It's in somewhere in the list of links of sources I put below. So if you want to watch the video, it's right down there. That said, unfortunately, to continue on trans women in sports, because for whatever reason, this is a nothing issue that is being made into an issue by a lot of conservative people as well as transphobes. But South Dakota Governor Christy is basically tried extra hard to ban trans kids from sports. Unfortunately, that's not loading for me well, because apparently the internet also hates me. So I apologize, I needed to verify some of the details, but yeah, along with that, in terms of Republican bullshit, Republicans are full of bullshit, they decided to double down on trying to block the repeal of Missouri marriage equality ban, which I get the impression is unconstitutional based off of the current rulings of the Supreme Court. So that definitely, well, it should have been repealed forever ago. Well, it should never been put up in the first place. But that's sort of what the GOP tends to do when there is actual change made and stuff with popular support. They're very much against the people, which is just annoying. Yeah, it's defunct, so they can't even fucking act on the law, but they still want it in the goddamn books. I don't know what's wrong with Republicans outside of hate. That's hardcore hate boners that they've got for the LGBTQ. That said, I think it's about time to head overseas, or don't head overseas, but there is, there's a lot of issues in the UK. Sadiq Khan, who is the mayor of London, basically suggested that Pride in London needs a reset because of the racism. Because Pride in London has racism, and it shouldn't. And what the fuck? Those leaders are gone, but yeah, there definitely needs to be stuff to prevent shit like that from happening again. Part of the importance of inclusivity is when you have a bunch of marginalized groups. For one thing, marginalized groups, I think by the definition, are fewer people. So if we work together, we can make actual positive change. And fighting against ourselves for no good reason is not helpful to anyone. And that includes disability advocacy. It includes racial justice. It includes support for tribal lands and tribal laws. And I will go back to the Martin Luther King Jr. quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." That was true then. It's true now. That was true in the 1800s with a lot of socialist movements. Still true now. That's it. There is a bit of a sadder story in the UK. Well, a couple sadder stories in the UK. Basically, a gay man was murdered for being gay in the UK. And that news article also doesn't seem to want to be my friend and load. So apparently I need to double check my links beforehand. But yeah, I don't know, because I can see the article title. I don't remember if Jerry Apicella is the man who's murdered or the murderer, and that does not help with things. Actually, I could just look up the name. Oh wow. Apparently I need quotes as well. This is... So the stream's just been like a weird off stream. And I also suppose I shouldn't, you know, repeatedly mention that. But yeah. Well, it's not loading. So I'll go to the other, unfortunately. Yeah, that might be the one, although I saw that one from 2019, so maybe the murder got finally charged. Thank you, Emily. But yeah, I'm just not sure, given that I looked at an article from 2021, so I don't know if it's someone else with the same name or a continued conversation about that murder. So, J.D. Weatherspoon. So there was a Weatherspoon kitchen assistant has been fired for gross misconduct after calling a transgender colleague a thing and it. Now, it doesn't require that much to point out how wrong that is. Now, there are some transgender people who prefer the pronouns it, its, or whatever, and that's fine. I don't think that is inherently a problem. However, in this particular case, this is dehumanizing language. This is the language that helps people justify doing cruel acts to others. So it's a list of steps. There's a whole breakdown in Silence of the Lambs, which also has some transphobia issues, and as well as some transmedicalist type issues. Yeah, it's a there are some problems with that, but they do a good breakdown of the various ways of utilizing how people utilize dehumanizing language, because then you're just breaking an object. You're not, killing an actual person. And that's really problematic because it is far too close to the steps of murder. And I don't like any trans people being murdered. I mean, I don't like anyone being murdered, to be fair. I mean, there has to be like a specific situation. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with something bad happening. I wouldn't have a problem with Hitler having been murdered during World War II. That's not a problem. But this is a big problem. Oh, there was sexist and racist language apparently too. Shock. Shock. That's yeah. That's just a whole bunch of crap. Now back to the States, Park Cannon, who's a black queer legislator, was arrested on Thursday for knocking on a door to try to enter Georgia governor's office. So, apparently police have no problem arresting legislators trying to get into the governor office. It's not, it shouldn't be a problem, but they're making it into a big problem. And there was a lot of, there's a lot of GOP who basically do their best to either gerrymander, move what counts as a county around, or just do whatever they can to win, because winning matters more than any sort of ethical consideration to them. And also it matters more to them than the people. And these are supposed to be people who represent the people, and they don't. Now, someone who has made headlines and managed to be visible, Dr. Rachel Levine, makes history as the first trans official confirmed by Senate. So she has finally gone through all the hoops to allow her to be the Assistant Secretary of Health at the Department of Health and Human Services. So that's still a good thing. I've heard criticism of her general medical practices, but honestly, this is still more of a win than it is a loss. And I don't remember what the criticisms were, so they might have been bad criticisms too. I honestly don't know. And it's nice. Visibility is nice, and we have become more and more visible, and it's become safer for, it's like it keeps increasing. The more visible we are, the more safe it will be for us to be visible, which will allow more trans people, or more LGBTQ people in general, to be visible. And so long as we don't have people trying to utilize exclusionary tactics and just make a whole exclusionary. Some people don't want others in the marginalized group that they're in, and it's honestly not helpful for making freedom changes. Now, not necessarily because of this, but it's important to know that QAnon representative, yes, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, the person who believes I have full access to a Jewish slave, also, hello, a Jewish space laser. The person who believes that I have access to a Jewish space laser because I was born and raised Jewish. She believes the US Capitol is evil because they will wipe out male and female there as concepts, which is pretty impressive for any place to do, because those concepts of male and female are in a lot of aspects of, well, science more than anything else. And it's just, I mean, it doesn't really apply much to gender roles inherently, although naturally I'm pretty sure Marjorie Taylor Greene probably is like, oh, if you're female, you have like these specific traits. If you're male, you have these specific traits, and you need to... No, it's not that simple. People are different, and people try to figure out who they are, and it really isn't that simple. But because of not because of trans women, although I'm sure that adds to her argument. Yeah, the Capitol. Because of LGBTQ rights, the Capitol is clearly against the male and female. Being against the binary still doesn't get rid of male and female. Now, oh wow. Am I just cursed for all the websites that I have links to? This was going to be a good, funny one. Okay, so apparently there was like a religious pastor somewhere who basically equated pronouns with not believing in God. I realize those are two completely separate, very different things. However, that doesn't stop some people from making some weird correlation between the two. Now, yeah, it's just so weird. I mean, I'm sure it probably ties back to the whole anti-Semitic conspiracy theory about Jewish Bolsheviks or all that sort of bullshit. Your links are okay. The internet is just mad. Yeah, the internet just hates me. But it's like the internet's boycotting the show because like Christy and Calon can't make it, so it's just upset. Oh wait, no, it just took time. Wait, was that the internet trying to tell me that was the reason? It's just sad about the other co-host not showing up. So, Catholic judge compares using proper pronouns for trans people to denying the existence of God. So, that's... so apparently it is also a Christian professor. God damn. Yeah, apparently he was, like, didn't stop misgendering trans student, and the trans student was probably like, no. Oh, a trans woman specifically, shock. Always referring to her as Sir and Mr. Those are like the grossest gendered words ever. But yeah, so she did a lawsuit because of the harassment. And he's just like, yeah, no, it's the same as atheism. That was just a civil resolution. What the fuck? Oh, okay. Yeah, Soviet comrade. Yeah, no, it's the Jewish Bolsheviks. Or sorry, the more modern version is cultural Marxism. That explains everything there. However, the most important story is there for last. Nike denies involvement with Lil Nas X Satan shoes containing human blood. So, for one thing, Lil Nas X is fucking awesome. Old Town Road, amazing song, and should be checked out. But yeah, he collaborated with streetwear company MSCHF for making 666 pairs of Satan shoes that, according to them, every sneaker contained a drop of human blood in the sole, drawn from members of the MSCHF team. So I'm sad that the shoes are sold out, because that sounds amazing. But yeah, so the shoes are reworks of Nike shoes, apparently. So it's that's why Nike is just like, well, we're not associated with the cool Satan shoes. And I am sad I haven't watched the music video yet. I should have. But yeah, it's just it's, people get upset about some things. Some things people get upset about are genuinely hurtful things. And some things people get upset about are black queer rappers selling Satan shoes. And honestly, it just makes me want Satan shoes more than anything. That said, sorry about the episode being made it the full half hour. I'm sorry it was only me. It was an unfortunate situation. So you can always check out Christy still with her channel, and Calon on her channel, and oh, it's called Mischief? Okay, that makes sense. So Calon's on Transgardr. I'm guessing it's possible that they might not have an episode, or maybe they will. I'm not sure. Regardless, I don't see an announcement yet, but regardless, you should check out Transgardr because it's a wonderful show. And check out Christy's channel. And Christy was on an episode of Steve Shives' on Steve Shives' channel. So you can check that out too. As for me, you can find me Ozma in the Dark everywhere outside of Twitter, which I'm talking to nothing, minus the G. And yeah, with that said, like, comment below. No, I don't believe in breathing, Emily Chambers. There. Oh shit. I was speaking from chat. I am overthinking everything. But yes. Like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to. Tell us about news stories we missed. If you're interested in that. Or news stories we should have done. Which would also be news stories we missed. You can also, comment if we got something wrong or just anything. Or comment squiggly chicken. Comment whatever the fuck you want. And I think that's everything. Join us this Sunday on The Fluid Voice. I think we should have... I am not... You can't prove that I'm looking up names. We might have... Becky, I guess they aren't a YouTuber. I talk to people other than YouTubers. I talk to advocates too. Advocates are cool. So, we're going to talk with them, and, regardless, not everything's bad, and have a good one. Bye-bye.